What's up guys, Ghost here. So today I'm going to talk a little on the subject of Overwatch's UI. The recent patch that went live on the PTR had a lot of interface improvements to it, and that spurred me to ask and answer a few questions on my mind. Firstly, why are the customization options for the in-game UI so few, and why can't we scale our UIs like you can in so many other games? So currently the only things you can change are mostly on-off toggles, things like the clock, the kill feed, or the network performance data. And then we have the customizable crosshair, a feature that was widely requested during Overwatch's beta and consequently later implemented. Now apart from that, the UI is completely unchangeable and unscalable. In fact, even if you have a larger monitor, one of the perks of which is to have more screen space, the UI will not scale down accordingly, and that even goes for higher resolutions like 4K. So why exactly is this? I'm almost certain it's not because Blizzard don't have the technical capability or know-how. I mean, just look at another Blizzard game, World of Warcraft. They allow player-created UI mods by the dozens, many of which have then been picked up by Blizzard and implemented into the game itself. So it must therefore simply be a design choice by Blizzard to not go down this route. There are two main reasons I can think of for this. The first and primary reason is because they wish to have a level playing field, and after all, Overwatch is a very competitive game, so in Blizzard's eyes, having more variables to deal with, such as different player UIs, is a headache they don't particularly want and certainly don't need. The second reason is to make the UI to be familiar for people watching in spectator mode, for instance whilst watching a pro match. Now, as you can probably tell by the tone of the video, I am an advocate for having a customizable UI. Everybody likes different settings. Some people like to have things very large and legible so they can easily see the health, for instance, whilst others prefer to keep things small and unintrusive to maximise the game world they can see. I would also argue that there are a lot of useless UI elements in Overwatch. The portrait of your hero in the bottom left, the symbol telling you which key to press underneath each ability, the picture of the weapon you have equipped, even the firebar under your health. None of these things actually serve you in any way within the game, with the exception that you're a brand new player who's unfamiliar with the heroes, but I'm going to assume that the majority of my viewers are somewhat seasoned by now. So being able to toggle these elements on or off, or even fading the opacity, would be a welcome change. Then there are some things that are just way too big in my opinion, like your ultimate charge wheel or the weapon model, so maybe adding a scale slider for those would be nice. Something else I find to be intrusive are the objective markers for capture points. Sometimes they happen to be right on top of an enemy's head hitbox, which can be frustrating, especially for McCree players. Customization can always go beyond simple scale and opacity. Imagine having on-screen health bars for all of your teammates whilst playing support. So even if somebody were behind you, you could tell if they were taking damage and if you needed to swing around and heal them. Of course, this would reduce the game sense required to be an effective healer and may therefore be detrimental to the game overall, so big changes like that would have to be heavily considered of course. But imagine how many fewer people you would have trickling in if they could always see on screen who was dead and who was alive without having to tab out. I'd also love to be able to switch the positions of the various UI elements. Personally, I'd much rather have my ult status down in the bottom left and replace it with my health bar centrally below my crosshair. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I honestly feel I don't have the time to look at my health bar in certain situations, and it's just too far out of my peripheral vision to see without flicking my eyes in its direction. So that is it guys, I've said my piece and those are my thoughts on the subject. I did try to Google the answers to a lot of these questions to try and understand why these things aren't in the game, and I found a lot of Redditors posting about similar stuff, but unfortunately no replies from Blizz. But I would like to know what your thoughts are on the subject as well. Are you for or against UI customization and why? Thank you ever so much for watching guys, please leave a like down below if you enjoyed this discussion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.